Welcome back, everybody, to the Diesel Performance Podcast. My name is Anthony Bernini, and I am here with
Chris Emke.
Chris. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy day. The last this month, man. We're halfway through February already. Time's flying by. Lots of stuff going on in the industry, and today's episode, I think, is a really special one. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it. I mean, you've been around the diesel stuff and racing a lot longer than I have, or you're a little bit more in tune with it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to learn a few things today because I don't want to walk into it too soon. We got Lavon from Firepunk Diesel online with us, and we're going to go through, learn about the Fast 72 class, and I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn something new.
I've read a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of shit talking, a lot of
I have
banter.
too. That's why I want to get into that.
I'm really excited. Let's get into it. Lavon, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Just showed up down here in Georgia. Going to do some drag racing this week.
That's what you're known for.
Well, the racing has always been a big part of Firepunk and making us who we are. So we try to push the limits in the race car, and a lot of the things that we've learned in motorsports is what's made our just our shop program what it is today.
You know, I heard about you guys. This was probably right around the DPC stuff. And it was, Jim Rendon had his truck and he was having trans issues and you had done some stuff for him. And to think about where you guys were at that point, you'd already done DPC because there was the red mega cab. I remember the red mega and Jim's red truck were together at the shop. But you guys have maintained your roots and have only built off of it to make a hell of a name for yourselves.
Yeah, definitely blessed. Like we started, I still picture myself as grassroots as they come. So just a farm kid with a dream, you know?
Yeah. So farm kid with a dream, multiple Diesel Power Challenge wins, multiple UCC wins. You've thrown your hat in helping others with winning UCC. Little background here. Last year, I had the opportunity to watch you in the pits with Josh McCormick going over some tune-up stuff before we went on the dyno, and that was a sight to see. You just going through everything, showing them what was what, having that, that conversation back and forth, that mentoring, if you will. Like, that doesn't come from just luck. Like, that's years and years of grinding, figuring this stuff out.
Yeah, and that's the position we're in now, and I really enjoy it. Like we've competed in UCC in 2016, 17, and 18, and won 3 years consecutively. And got to the point where we had customers calling us, wanting us to do builds, and it didn't really make sense to compete against the people that we were doing builds for. So it's fun to now be able to take some of our experience and sow into some of the younger generation, the guys that are coming in, and teach them some of the knowledge that we've had and see them succeed. So I really enjoy getting behind other teams and seeing them win.
Do you get a lot of guys like, kind of leading into like the UCC stuff or the ODSS stuff? Like you get a lot of customers that are wanting you to do chassis work and build motors and build those trucks, like those purpose built race trucks from past experiences that you've had, like you guys seeing more growth of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, really, we try to take a position where we fill in the gaps because a lot of guys are do-it-yourself kind of guys,
right.
And I want to promote the guys that were like me. They just didn't have the ability to TIG weld or they don't have the ability to do tuning. So we really fill in the gaps a lot where guys do majority of the build themselves, and they'll bring it to us to do like a 4-link kit, or they'll bring it to us to do the NHRA safety equipment with the roll bars and seat belts and drive shaft loops and things that they're not capable of doing at home in their garage. Sometimes they, put a full truck together and then they bring it to us and we dyno tune it and, work through all the bugs, work through all the function tests, help them get everything set up and ready for the racetrack. So we'll do anything from a full build start to finish, or we'll fill in the gaps for where areas that the customer's not comfortable doing themselves.
So now, do you guys treat the race lab or the race shop separate from I don't want to call it the general maintenance shop, because you guys have done a ton of fab in the main building, trans, repairs, trans installs and all that. But are those like two separate entities, or is it just one business or one operation and you just shuffle trucks around from one building to the other as they're going through that assembly of sorts?
It is still all one business, but we do treat them with like different departments. So we have Josh Scruggs heads up the fab shop, and he runs his own schedule in the fab race department. And then we've got Jared Morey, he runs the service department, and he has his own schedule in the service department. And those, then we have our separate team lead on the transmission department. So the team leads are always coordinating, saying like, hey, we've got a customer coming in for a trans build, and when he's done with this, he wants to put a new intake horn on. It's going to need refabricated, or he wants to get rid of his intercooler boots and go to vibrant clamps. And so it's going to come in on the 16th for service side to get a transmission installed, and then the 17th it goes into the fabrication and race department for some fabrication stuff. So we just coordinate internally to make our schedules work together, but we do kind of run them separately, although it's still all together.
Is there like a ratio that you have, or a percentage where this percentage is all of like the day-to-day maintenance, the repair, service, things like that, and then there another percentage where it's big builds, or kind of what does that look like in the shop?
I would say the service department does about double the revenue as what the race shop does.
Mm-hmm.
But the service shop also gets a lot more of the day-to-day transmission install, head gaskets, all the easy stuff. So the race department, the custom fabrication, it's a hard department to scale because it takes extremely skilled technicians. Yeah. So we try to focus in on high quality, do what we can, and I'm not necessarily trying to grow that into, go from 5 techs in the race shop to 10. I'm trying to maintain the ability to do the custom wild builds, use that kind of as our marketing department to show what our capabilities are, and then on the backside of that, everything that we build in the race department, we try to manufacture parts that we can sell, whether it's shifter mounts or drive shaft loops or seat brackets, all the things that we build custom that we see a need for, we'll develop a product line for, and then add that onto our fabrication product line. So that's what I'm trying to grow long term. Try to keep it, where we have 3 to 5 skilled fab guys that can stay busy doing custom stuff, and then we're going to grow the production fabrication on the backside of it.
I mean, that's one of my favorite things to see is anytime you post something on Instagram, Facebook, what have you, of just, again, because I don't come from a racing background, so when I see what you're doing, it's super cool, to kind of put myself in the consumer shoes on the trucks you're building, because these trucks, depending on the scale of the build, they get tore down to damn near nothing. And it's built from the ground up.
I love watching the YouTube videos, like watching David Patrick's updates.
That truck's nasty.
Yeah, it was cool to see.
But yeah, it's super cool to see.
Yeah,
that
truck's really coming together. It's just got done. We had it at PRI on display, mostly together. Came back and we tore it all the way down to bare bones, and because we had to go powder coat the chassis, and then it came back and got all the way reassembled, and so now it is waiting for the engine to be finally for its final install, because we had a couple changes that the Waggler wanted to make to the intake to make it fit the cowl a little bit better. So he angled the intercooler on the intake on it. So the engine went back to Waggler's after a PRI. So it should be coming back here in the next week or two, and then it can get plumbed and go to SNS for wiring. And then it'll be ready for function test on the hub dyno out at SNS, and then it's ready for the drag strip.
Seeing that truck at
just like that.
PRI was nasty. It's something where I just everything's on a massive scale there. Yeah. And it's like you bring your biggest, baddest shit. Everyone's looking at their top products, top performing trucks, whatever the case is. And all of a sudden you're walking up down the aisles and you look over and you go, holy shit, look at that. I mean, the color was sick. But again, you take everything off of that and you see every nut and bolt has been gone through. Yeah. You see the welding that's done on that thing. Well, I get excited seeing that stuff.
It's also not your guys' first rodeo, right? Like this year, the big splash, in my opinion, is David's truck. Last year, I'm not quite familiar with the customer's name, so my apologies. But that red and gold 3rd gen truck,
Garrett Ness.
Like the attention to detail, like you guys must have been really good puzzle players back in the day. Like it's insane, man. It's just the attention to detail is off the charts.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand is that you have to really build those trucks multiple times, because you put it together raw first, and then because you have to have a place to mount every bracket, every fitting, every piece gets while you're fabricating, you have to have it raw, and then once it's assembled, you can function test everything. Like Garrett's truck, we had it together in June on the dyno with everything raw, and then we tore it all the way down, sent the parts and pieces out to Arizona for gold plating and hand engraving.
Yeah.
And then all that stuff started trickling back, and we got all those parts and pieces down to the last, 2-3 days before SEMA. And it was just like, 2 weeks of 24/7, all hands on deck, putting it back together, because every liquid system on that truck when it went back together leaked because the gold plating messed up the seals, because he wanted all the AN fittings gold plated. So we never thought about the gold plating messing up the sealing surface. So it was a nightmare, because like brake fluid leak, power steering leak, fuel leak,
all over
leak,
all the fresh stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind's at.
You go for a final assembly and you're like 2 to 3 days in from SEMA delivery day, and everything's leaking. So we have to take fittings back apart and polish them out and get rid of the gold plating on the inside of the fitting and put it back together without damaging the outside of the fitting. So there was a lot of behind the scenes hours and hours and hours that went into that project that, the end consumer never really knows what all goes into it.
I was just going to say, like, being in the industry and working on and taking stuff apart, I have an idea, right? Just of taking things apart, putting things together, and going down to literally a bare frame and doing what you guys did. And now hearing this, it's like everything I thought, it's 6-7x.
I would never have thought, like, you just, again, from a consumer, you're like, oh, that's nasty. Like, that must have took a long time to build. It's like, no, you have no idea how long it took to build. Because I wouldn't think you build it, you take it off, how many times do you think that truck has been put apart and put back together? Like, that's something that at least as a consumer, you don't think of. You just see the cool finished product. Oh, that must have took you a long time. Yeah, no shit. It took us, months, years in some cases. Yeah. That's wild.
Right. And like the fabricated 9-inch axles in it, he wanted those gold plated. So when they dip those originally they do a chrome plating first, and then they do a gold on top of the chrome. That's how you get your really bright chrome finish. But it's really acidic when they dip it. And so where it didn't get chrome plating on the inside, when it came back, the outside looked amazing, but the inside was just full of rust. We had to wire wheel the whole inside of it and get it completely clean. And there was 4 hours of just wire wheeling the inside of one axle just where we could start putting it back together.
Not to mention, you got to be careful to not fuck the outside up again.
Right.
So it's,
you my God. Worry about
it was no option, because it was leaving for SEMA that Saturday, whether we were done or not. So we made it happen.
Wow. How many hours do you have cataloged into a truck like that? And I mean, I understand there's probably some sensitivity to it, but rough numbers.
Yeah, I mean, so we were ballparking between the hours at the hand engravers and the hours that we put into it, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,000 hours.
That's insane.
My God.
That is crazy. But the finished product it's literally a work of art.
It's nasty.
It's a 101.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a full custom interior. Like the dash was leather wrapped, the door panels were leather wrapped. Like everything was done. There was nothing that was untouched. Full sound system, full cooling system. The bed floor was finished in wood. I mean, there's just everywhere you turn, there was hours and hours and hours poured into it.
You can never mistake that for another truck.
No,
everybody's got 20 by 10s or 20 by 12s. And it's like, no, that is a one of one. Nobody else's truck looks like that.
Does the truck just sit in a garage now, or like what's the truck's life now?
He takes it out. He's got like one of those car bubbles, so he puts it in the car bubble. That way, it doesn't get covered in dust. And he'll take it out. He takes it to a lot of the local car shows. He'll drive it there and drive it back. I think that he slowed down a little bit last fall, a little bit, because I think he won about every show he took it to. So
it's kind of hard not to.
He's pretty busy, but he does enjoy driving it when he gets a chance. He talks some about putting it on the dyno at UCC and smacking down a big number, but I don't know if we've talked about that or not.
Well, I guess with that being said, now you get to educate us. So the reason for you coming on today was Anthony and I want to get ourselves and our listeners kind of up to speed and learn more about what you have going on with this 72Fast class.
Uh-huh.
So
I'd be glad to talk about it.
So for any of our listeners, right,
who have been under a rock. Again, all I've been seeing is shit talking and banter between some of the competitors or potential competitors. So I'm taking some screenshots because I'm like, again, I want to get educated, but I've seen people talking shit about
blue trucks and just, a bunch of stuff. So give us a little background. What's the class? What's its origin? How'd you come up with it? We'll start there.
Well, mostly because there's so much talk about heads-up racing. Everybody wants to go diesel racing. So every time you bring up ODSS and index racing, and we're like, I'm trying to get customers to come out and go race. They're like, I don't want to index race. I don't want to have to slow my truck down. And they don't really understand how competitive index racing can be. I think it's more just like a mental thing of like, if you're not heads up going as fast as you can against the guy that you're beside, and then they feel like it's boring, which I can understand. I was in the same boat when I started racing.
It's an alpha mentality, right? That I'm
yeah, I
better
mean,
than you,
I don't know. It's
faster
just
than you.
the whole racing scene as a whole is ego driven. I mean, I get it. Like the first time you got your driver's license and you're driving down the road and you're at the front of the intersection, and the car beside you took off and you made sure you were just a fender in front of them.
100%.
That's just natural male. If you're not there, then racing is probably not for you.
Yeah.
It's like for me, my wife is like, why does everything have to be a competition? I'm like, I don't know. I just accidentally have to try to win.
No, it's in your DNA.
So that's really where there was just a big need for heads up racing. And every time I've raced pro street heads up, and I've raced pro mod heads up, and I just know how any time there's heads up racing involved, it always ends up being a big money spend. Sooner or later, like you can develop a new class that's geared towards budget build, but when it's heads up, sooner or later, guys pour a bunch of time and money into R&D, and then soon it's expensive.
Right.
So the thought process behind 72Fast was like we wanted to do air limited heads up racing, but when you do air limited, you always go back to the sled pulling days or sled pulling as a whole. You see how it goes with the custom turbo sizes, your 3-inch and 2.6 classes.
Right.
You have 7,000 turbochargers, and if you're not in the in circle, you don't get the latest turbocharger when you buy one. So it's like this huge circle. If you're not in the right circle, you're always going to be 20 or 30 horsepower behind the rest of the class.
No.
So I didn't want that. And I wanted to try to create more of a budget heads up class. I know that anytime you put heads up in racing, it's going to get expensive. But I wanted to limit it. And that's where we've had quite a few trucks on, like just our employees were buying these VS Racing 72 millimeter chargers, and they were beating the absolute shit out of them on our trucks, and they weren't tearing up. And I was like, what would happen if we would start a class with a 72? Everybody has the exact same turbo. They cannot touch it. They cannot modify it. We put a minimum weight on it, and we just say fuel only, no fuel, no nitrous. Everybody gets the same power adder, go. And we did a feeler last year. I decided to make it kind of approach it the way where it was DPC, where you had to be hand chosen. You had to send in if you're interested in it. And then we picked out 16 trucks to compete in it and limited it at 16 trucks. And we did that last year at UCC. And it was, I think I had 54 entries that wanted to get in, and I picked 16, and we had amazing racing. Every race was very close. Except, there was like one or two passes where guys had problems. But every race that went down the track was heads-up racing. It was hard to see who won. And we added a nice twist with instant green. So you don't get any ambers. You go in pre-stage and stage, and then just instant green light comes on. So it's really hard to cut a light. And then there's no time, and it's just a win light only. So you never know how fast your competitors in the field are actually going. So you have to run a draggy in your truck if you want to know how fast you're going yourself. And you don't really know if you're a 10th or 3/10 behind the rest of the competitors until you line up beside them.
So it's controlled street racing for diesel.
I'll say that sounds fun.
Man, that sounds awesome. I'm hyped listening to it.
So pretty much the rules are that for this year. I had to add a little bit more to it to try to eliminate some of the potential for cheating. I don't know if I might have signed myself up for a tech nightmare, but I'm trying to I tried to put enough in the rules to where it makes it not too bad. We're doing a area where everybody, after your pass, you have to come back to the designated cool down area, and everybody preps their truck for the next race beside each other. So you don't get to go back to your pits if you win your round. That way everybody can watch each other and make sure there's no shenanigans going on with nitrous refills and hidden nitrous components. And we're just trying to make it a little more self-policing without creating a bunch of chaos. And I think I kind of put it out there to see if anybody would be interested in helping sponsor. I really had this dream of making this like a huge payout, trying to make it $50,000. And Aaron Reynolds at Tameless Performance came on board and said he would split the pot with me. So he sponsored half of it. We sponsored half of it. We announced a $50,000 payout, and the internet went crazy. So we started getting entries, and a lot of the people kept jumping in and say, hey, we want to throw some money at this. And there was contingencies added, and it didn't take but a day and a half, and we were at a $100,000 payout. So now we've got $70,000 in cash going to the winner. We got $20,000 going to runner-up, and $10,000 going to quarterfinalists. So, and then there's a bunch of contingencies that, like Merchant and Whirlies, Dan Snyder, they put contingencies up for Fords. The other guys put some up for Duramaxes. There's a bunch of sponsors that came on board and really helped throw up the ante. Whereas, like if a Duramax beats a Power Stroke or a Cummins, then it's $500 per round that they win, up to $10,000. So it gives the Duramax guys some motivation to go out and chase the Ford and the Cummins boys.
Oh, and also
same thing with like Dan Snyder put up money if a Power Stroke wins, and then you get extra contingency. So Power Stroke wins the whole thing, you're going to end up going home with over $80,000.
I mean, the fact that the competitors already have purpose-built trucks, it's essentially a cheap entry or a cheaper entry to swap out the turbocharger where everything's consistent with turbos. And then to put up the purse the way the winning is, and then to have all of these like sub betting of sorts to where now you're getting the crowd. Like there should be a big crowd for this with a lot of banter and a lot of back and forth. That to me, like this is the event to go to during UCC. Like this is what everybody should be excited to look for.
I think of like some Street Outlaws type deal
Yeah.
where everyone's behind placing their own bets
Oh yeah,
on
no,
the side.
absolutely.
And then you just got the stands filled with people. Like, I mean, I love going to watch the races, but this just sticks out to me a little bit more. So this year at UCC, I'm going to be excited to go out to watch this.
It's going to be a blast to watch. I just think we put together a website, 72fast.com, and that we put all the competitors on there, and it gives them the ability to go on there and call out other competitors for the first round. So every round is going to be chip draw unless they create a call out. You have to put at least $250 up to call out another competitor. So, there's going to be a bunch of side bets, and it's just going to make it exciting, So if you think you can call out a duck in the first round to get you through the first round, you can put up some money. And if that guy takes your bet, and then, you can secure who you're going to race in the first round if you want to.
Do you guys have any preset, like people have put up money to go head to head already?
Yeah, I think we've got 3 or 4 call outs. There's $1,000 bet that's been put up, a $500 one, I think maybe two $500 ones. But if you go to 72fast.com, I think it's the word 70 with the number 2, fast.com. You can see the competitors, you can see the call out. So you, without even having a login, the public can go there and see all the names on the list and see the call outs that have been placed. So it makes it fun. So as we get closer to the race, we're going to keep pushing this, and I think the competitors have 48 hours to respond to a call out when they get called out. And if they decline it, they have to click a button that says, sorry, I'm too scared. So it's just
really put it in there.
Just add to the ego, man. Just, I'm going to kick you in the dick when you say no. Oh, so what day? So this, and I'm not mistaken, this is happening during UCC weekend, correct?
Yes. Yep. The goal is to do it, be the Friday afternoon evening show for UCC. So the question that we're not certain of is how much time we have, because we're not sure we're not allowing anybody to run any test passes at UCC. Is only off the trailer racing. So if you enter a ODSS class with the truck that you're running 72Fast and you make a test pass on Friday, you are automatically DQ'd and you lose your entry fee.
Oh shoot.
So what I really just want this to be heads up racing where guys show up and they're ready, and it just adds a level of excitement to it. So that way we don't have guys doing their first pass ever on their truck at UCC. And that will, I'm not sure how many trucks I'm robbing from the Outlaw Diesel Super Series points chasers. So if I can get through all of 72Fast on Friday night, those guys can still buy an ODSS tech card and jump into qualifying Saturday, and then still race ODSS on Saturday. So that's kind of the goal.
And how
is to get. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying how many people are going to be doing the 72Fast that might not have made it for ODSS? Well, now they might be doing both.
Right. Yep. And we have 150 entries into 72Fast.
So are these all like backup alternates, more or less? Like, do you have alternates in case someone drops out, or how does that work?
I had a waiting list, and I burned through most of the waiting lists because I didn't charge anything to be on the waiting list, and so when I opened the waiting list, I got like 40 names pretty quickly. But so we've had, I think, 7 people had things come up where they realized they weren't be able to make it that weekend, or they didn't think they would be able to get the truck to where they wanted to for the weekend, so they wanted to back out. So we're not doing refunds on the tech cards, but what I do is every time somebody would email and say, hey, I'd want to forfeit my spot, I would email the next guy on the waiting list. So we've burned through the waiting list. I think we've replaced about 7 initial race entries with waiting list people. So I'm down to just a few left on the waiting list, but I'm pretty sure that, you know how it goes. There's always people who have big intentions, or they tear something up the week before. So normally, if there's somebody who has not bought an entry and they want to get in, most likely there's still going to be an opportunity to take somebody's spot before here in the race. So if somebody wants to get into the 72Fast class and they don't have a spot yet, I just usually tell them to email sales@firepunkdiesel.com, and we'll put you on the waiting list. And the next guy that has an opportunity to take their spot will see if we can get them in.
And who are some of the names that you have racing? Because I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook and Instagram, like people getting their trucks ready. What are some of the guys that you've got signed up at the moment?
We've got, there's 150 to choose from, but Greg A's in there.
Yeah.
David Petrick, he's putting a truck together for it. JH Diesel, I think he's working with Fleece on something. There's a lot of Matt Gardenia, a lot of the guys who used to run 670 have jumped into that. Like last year's winner, Austin Yingling, he's back in it. Matthew Parker, he was the runner-up last year. So a lot of the guys that raced last year are coming back for more because they've got 1 year under their belt, and they feel like they've got a chance at bettering their times from last year. And I think it really, if you've got a good running truck and you can cut a light, you've got a chance at winning this thing.
Some heavy hitters for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Did you expect when you kind of put this together that it would take off the way it was? Like, of course that's what the hope is, but did you expect it to turn into this?
I wanted to be big. I wanted to be big enough that I could do a big payout, but I had no idea it would be this big. I honestly had intentions of capping it at 64 racers. So I came home from work on Friday, and I think we had 38 racers signed up, and I made a post about something like, I can't remember how many racers. I said, whatever, we got 17 spots left until we get to 64. Whenever we had done that, I had made that post kind of implying that I would cap it at that. I hadn't fully committed to capping it because I didn't want to, if a lot of people wanted to race it, I didn't want to cap it if I wanted to, or if I didn't need to. And then I woke up Saturday morning and had 105 entries. I was like, well, I guess I'm not capping it at 64. So that number kind of blew right by me without me getting a chance to shut off the entries. And so then I went based on the amount of rounds of racing. So we've got 8 rounds of racing, and that, I'm just making sure that we don't go past 8 rounds.
Do you see this turning into something more in the future? Like, do you have other ideas of other turbo limited classes or doing different levels? Like, what's the future look like on
Definitely.
this?
I think it revives so many old race trucks that have been sitting in the corner of the barn that guys are like, I can buy $1,000 turbo, I can throw it on my truck and I can go race, and this excites me. So I think that's definitely the direction that we need to go with diesel motorsports. I'd really like, this is a 6,000 pound class, and I'd really like to do a 7,000 pound hard tire stock appearing turbo class. That way, it's not limited to one specific turbo, but it has to be a stock frame turbocharger, like a Cheetah style, and do 7,000 pounds in hard tire. That would be a fun class. I think the singles elite that the guys at a Diesel Truck War started, that's a cool class. It's a any size single turbo, but fuel only, heads up racing.
Okay.
That can get carried away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But the single turbo fuel only really limits you to be able to get up through a torque converter with a diesel without, if you have a 6.7 motor, it's really hard to spool a 98 millimeter fuel only and still get a decent 60 foot without smoking your torque converter.
I keep going back. I love the turbo limited aspect of it. Like you were right earlier in the conversation of, in sled pulling, there were guys, we're in the Midwest, right? The mecca of sled pulling. And you get guys that are doing, 2.6, 3.0. And, there's guys that are 2-3 years behind the times because they weren't in those inner clicks. And you just, hey, this is the most generic 72 that we can not possibly get, but it's easy to come by. It's an expensive entry to get set up. It works. Clearly, it makes some power. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have chosen that as the platform. And it's, the options are on the table, but it's got to be this turbo. Do whatever you want. That's the turbo to run.
The guys went way faster last year, like way faster last year than I ever imagined. Because I was like thinking, 72. We've had a couple guys in our dyno do like 1,030 to the tire, it was like a stock engine 5.9 with 200% overs, a 14 mil and a 72. I did 1,030. I was like, yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah. And these guys last year were running times where they were making close to 1,300 horsepower, and I'm like, this is a 72, and it's stock. I mean, they ran 112 miles an hour in the eighth.
Holy shit!
That's 6,000 pounds. It's insane.
Wow.
So I was, that's draggy times. That wasn't on the clocks, but we had a couple, like I know Lucas Hall, he had done some testing and he had posted on Facebook before the event last year. They had run like a 630 at 109 and did it like 2 or 3 times and backed it up. And I was like, that's insane. Like I was like, imagine if they be able to get in the sixes, and now they're running bottom sixes, which posed a whole other element to it. Cause when I put this rule set together originally, I was thinking, heads up, no time. You don't really have to worry about too much safety equipment, because if you're dabbling right on that edge of needing a roll cage, nobody's going to say anything. Well, now they're in roll cage territory for quarter, so, and it's the thing with no time. I don't know how fast they're going to run, so I'm not going to tech safety based on any time. It's just in the rules that each competitor is responsible to have the safety equipment needed to run the time that their truck is running. And if nobody protests anything, and then nothing's going to be said. But if they go into eliminations with no roll bar, no safety equipment, and they run bottom sixes and they win, but the guy they beat has all the safety equipment, and that guy protests, the tower will go up, pull the times for both those racers, and they will tech both the protester and the racer. And if either one of those don't pass tech, or don't meet the safety requirements for the times that they run, and then they can get DQ'd during eliminations.
Gotcha.
I don't think
so. It should really help. It should really help keep people from opening their mouth and bitching, because they know if they're gonna call somebody out, then they're gonna get their truck going through with a fine tooth comb.
Yes.
So keep your mouth shut unless you got your shit together.
It's going to be one of those, that dude's cheating, I'm going to tattle on you. It's just going to blow up in their face. So be men, shut up, and just go have fun. So that's funny.
Yeah. And then we put, I think, an $800 price tag on if you think somebody's cheating and you want to protest, you have to put $800 up. If you're right, you get your money back. If you're wrong, the guy you called out or protested gets your $800.
Oh, I love that.
That's sick.
I love that. That should go up a couple bucks, but I like that.
Yeah. really make them feel being an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if somebody is cheating, like, I'm going to make them famous as a cheater. Like, don't show up and cheat.
Right.
And like, I want to promote ingenuity, but blatant cheating, hiding nitrous, stuff like that, like, I'm going to make you famous. You're not going to like it. So show up and play fair.
The internet's going to love it, though. They'll be more than happy to just call them out and ruin them.
I can't wait for this.
Right.
I don't ever come down for Friday night. I am going to be there Friday.
I'm excited to go down for this, to see it. Like, I mean, I'd love to be like up in the action, but I also would enjoy taking a step back and just watching all the organized chaos go on. I'm sure people are going to be yelling at each other.
We'll have to bring some money for some side bets too.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. And I just think, like, going to the impound lot, watching everybody turn their truck around between rounds, that's going to be fun to watch, because, people have to bring their own fans and everything. All the trucks are going to be lined up beside each other.
Right.
So if you have 150 trucks, you're going to have 75 trucks in the impound lot after the first round.
Yeah.
And then that'll get cut in half. And if we have time, we'll do a $500 buy-in second chance race for $25,000.
I mean, my next question was going to kind of be like, what do you think's coming next? But it sounds like you've already got a few ideas floating around there.
A lot of it depends so much on the turnout for the rest of the weekend. So what we're doing, like, I really didn't want to, I don't want to hurt ODSS because there's so many guys who are dedicated to that series and have put a lot of time and efforts into it. So what I did is I doubled the entry fee. So all the tech cards for ODSS are double the price, but then the winner gets double payout. So if it's normally a $2,500 payout, it's $5,000 to win for ODSS. Just kind of help throw in the chips for the ODSS guys to give them some higher stakes to come out and chase at ODSS. So instead of a $40 ET Tech card, it's $80. So it's not like it's a big jump on the entry fee on ODSS, but it still gives the winner higher payout. So that should be fun. And we're also going to do all pre-sold tech cards for ODSS so that I can try to get everybody to buy their tech cards before the event so that I can actually know how many rounds of racing I have to plan for, and I can better plan the 72Fast class on Friday based on the amount of ODSS entries I have.
That makes total logical sense.
Sounds like it's going to be a late night that night.
Yeah.
Well, we have the track till midnight, so the goal is to try to be done by 10:30, so we have an hour and a half of grace.
There you go.
That'll be cool.
Well,
and what doesn't we finish on Friday night? We finish on Saturday.
Cool.
So the only thing is, if we don't finish Friday night, it'll eliminate the guys' chance of running 72Fast and ODSS, because you got to qualify Saturday morning if you want to race ODSS.
I'm excited.
No.
I don't have much to say. Just it's nice to.
That's a ton of trucks to run through in a few hours.
It's a ton of trucks. I feel like there's always gonna be some drama.
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of broken hearts, but it's something that I'm very much looking forward to. And I know the people who are gonna come down to see everything. Yeah. It's just, as a spectator, that's gonna be sick to see.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want to take anything away from UCC or ODSS, but like, to me, this is kind of what I'm looking forward to. Probably because it's the new thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of excitement around it with the way it's been more or less put together.
It is. I mean, I think it's single-handedly stimulated the diesel economy a lot. I had talked to Menster Motorsports and said, hey, I need to order a pair of shocks, and this truck's 6,000 pounds. It's for the 72Fast class. And he's like, dude, I have sold 60 pairs of shocks for this class. And I'm like, God. Holy shit. So it's like, I don't even know the impact that it's had across the whole industry of guys buying injectors and pumps and head studs and whatever else they're buying, getting ready for it. So you got 150 trucks that are prepping for it.
What about the VS Racing 72 millimeter turbos?
I mean, they came on board and they helped out. They're pouring back into it, so they gave all the racers a discount so they could get $200 off their turbo, so they could buy a turbo for $799 instead of $1,000. But yeah, they've sold a lot of turbos. I know there was guys that have engine dynos who were buying 5 of them, so they could dyno 5 different ones and see if one of them made 5 or 10 horsepower more than the other one.
Oh my god!
People are going to be mad about 5
one was built on a Monday,
one
was on
$7,000 Chargers. So
right, no,
they can buy 7 of them for the price of one.
Exactly, they're making out, and they have backups just in case.
Yeah. No, this is something super cool where us kind of on the out. I don't want to say outside looking in, but I'm excited to go watch this.
Yeah.
The businesses are ecstatic to be a part of it. The drivers are ecstatic to be a part of that. It's just, I mean, I can't stop saying enough. I'm excited to go see this happen. I'm excited to see it go down. See everybody that's going to be a part of it, and just slowly watch everything unfold.
I'm looking forward to having you back on after this, Lavon, and talk about the aftermath.
Recap. Yeah.
Hopefully I don't regret this. I'm assembling a tech team. I'm going to try to handpick some guys that specialize in 6.7 power strokes to tech my 6.7 power stroke competitors.
There you go.
And then handpick some guys that are familiar with the 6.0 power stroke to tech the 6.0. Same thing with 6.4s and the Duramax platforms. Because like if I open the hood of an L5P, like I'm familiar with it, but I'm not good enough to like know, hey, that line is not supposed to be there because
Right.
I've never owned one, and I've never worked on one start to finish and taken it apart 15 times like I have Cummins trucks. So I'm going to try to assemble a tech team that makes it not a nightmare and makes it where we can burn through tech pretty quickly because I got a team of people.
And I mean, thinking about this, like Cummins going to be the fan favorite. A Cummins going to win. Like I know this going into it, but is there a handful? There's a good amount of Fords and Duramaxes that are entering this as well.
Yeah, I think we have 25 power stroke entries and maybe I haven't counted recently. I think close to 20 Duramax entries.
I wonder if it's...
So tell me this, in limited air sled pulling, does a Cummins always win?
No.
Okay, so why would a Cummins have to win this class?
You're asking the guy who likes Cummins.
Yeah,
of course
because I
he's
like Cummins and I want to stir the pot.
Yeah.
No, just
that was the whole thing. It's like I reached out to a couple of the some of the good Duramax sled pullers before I announced the rules. I said, real honestly, like I've got a lot of guys in the Duramax camp who feel like they're going to be a couple hundred horsepower short of the Cummins guys, and they need a weight handicapped or something. Do you believe that they need a weight handicap? And the guys that have good running Duramax trucks said, absolutely not. We can run with them. No. We can make within 15, 20 horsepower of what the Cummins guys can.
Yeah,
and that can be made up in chassis, reaction time, anything else. So like, I just didn't want to give a 200-pound weight break to a certain platform and then they come out and stomp everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything has gotten so advanced too over the years where it's like, I don't know. I feel like you putting an air cap in there brings on an easier way to invite the Ford and the GM crowd to mingle, and then the Cummins guys to mingle. Like it's an even playing field across the board. So I don't really think that there's a disadvantage or an advantage that one manufacturer has over the other at this point.
Well, we just have learned so much over the years in limited air. Look how important the piston bowl and injector spray pattern and injector rate shape, how fast the injector is. I mean, that can be a 100 horsepower difference in just an injector change. Yeah. And then if you combine the piston bowl with your injector depth with your injector all together, I mean, you can pick up 200 horsepower just by building an engine strictly for air limited. Yeah. And a lot of people in the Duramax and in the street class, just street trucks as a whole, guys never chase that efficient engine combination. They just add more fuel and air until they get their goal.
Well, I mean, and they're doing that based off of what they read on the forums and, what somebody else did, and they don't really have the data. They don't have the resources to really back in and do back-to-back testing, or, we deal with it with the turbocharger stuff. Like I can provide a customer black and white data on 2 turbo comparisons, but that customer is going to listen to their buddy who has no data because that's just what their buddy told them. So there's a lot to be said about doing back-to-back comparisons.
They always take the path of least resistance. Yeah. It's a lot easier to swap a different set of injectors in a truck than to pull the engine and try a different set of pistons. So I understand why the majority of street guys never try a bunch of different combinations, because it's a lot of work. But if you go talk to these limited air 3.0 smoothbore guys that are winning, look how much time they've spent on the engine dyno and how many different combinations they've tried. When they have 250 engine dyno pulls, there's a reason why they can keep up, because they know. But that means, to me, if I was a Duramax guy and building an engine for this platform, I would call somebody who has a top running Duramax and say, talk to me. Right. Give me a recipe. I know you've put in the work. Help me out, or team up with me. There's no point in having to spend $150,000 and learning it all yourself. The resources are already there. You just got to network and figure it out and go chase it.
I was just going to say, everything is networking these days. The top guys aren't top guys by sitting in a corner keeping everything private, doing their stuff themselves, and then making a big splash. The top guys are the top guys for a reason, and they're networking with other top people and sharing that data. That nothing's secret these days. You know, I mean, you can get the information if you try hard enough.
Right. I agree. I mean, that's transparent knowledge has been a big part of our successes. I had people who were willing to share their knowledge with me, and now I'm willing to share my knowledge with them. And if I would have just sat in my own corner and said, I'm going to figure it all out by myself, I'd be 5 years behind.
Being selfless goes a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only going to help people in the moment, but I feel like it's going to help grow the sport.
Oh, it is.
You know, for years to come.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I would say on that note, Lavon, it was a pleasure having you. Is there any last words or anything that you kind of want to share with our listeners before we wrap this up?
No, I'd love to see everybody at UCC. We're going to have the tickets on the Firepunk website. If you and you can also, if you come to the race and you want to camp out there, there's a campground across the street. You can also show up and race and camp in the ODSS pits right at the racetrack. It should be a great weekend.
Okay. And if any of our listeners want to learn more about the Fast 72, where can they find that information?
Go to 72, it's the word 70 with the letter 2, fast.com. You can, all the rules and information is posted there, but if you watch my socials, Firepunk Diesel, Lavon D. Miller, I'll be posting updates pretty regularly as they come, as we get closer to the event.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time.
Cool. Thank you, Lavon.
No problem at all. It's good talking to you guys.
You as well. You take care, and good luck doing some test races.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Keep your mouth shut unless you know you got your shit together.